So
you're going to lead?
Am I going to lead? As
yeah,
in
lead
being
it.
I'm
lead
leading.
it. You're boss.
Okay. Yes, I'll lead the way. I'll guide the conversation, and you just insert your wisdom whenever.
All right, I'll try my best.
So yeah, we are live.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, viewers.
Good evening.
YouTube.
Have you muted yourself? You forgot to light your joint again.
I did, yeah. I've done it. It's a cigarette. It's a rolling. I'm not smoking joints. So I need my channel. And I need. There we go. Found it. We're live now.
Yay!
Hey, who's give us a thumb up already?
Yay!
Nobody watching.
Feel like a winner already.
Hang on, I need to mute it. It's on a delay. Okay, so does everything sound okay your end, Darren?
Yeah, everything sounds all right there.
Hearing any feedback or anything?
No interference.
I'm not hearing any interference. So, good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Aaron and Zannie show, the weekly instalment of Flat Earth and anything we think is relevant. So tonight we're going to be talking about compartmentalization and what it is and how it works and how it affects us in our everyday life, basically. So for me, the compartmentalization is an important word because as a I don't want to label myself, but as a flat earther, people always ask you, they might be on board with, water laying flat and such things, but they can't comprehend how the system can lie to you over an extended period, and not just lie to you, but lie to everybody else. And they say things, but surely someone would have come out and spilled the beans by now. All the scientists can't be all hiding the truth. All the teachers can't all be hiding the truth. Hello, Tom from Norway. Hey, we've got a viewer.
Yay!
Hey.
Right.
That's Tom from Zetetic Truth Tube, which used to be Tet's Truth Tube, but YouTube shut him down.
All right.
My favourite flat earth channel ever. No, but it's true. The most fantastic videos, expertly put together, beautiful music, extremely educational and funny. So ticks all the boxes. People should watch it, and I'll put a link to your channel in the description. So yay. So what was we talking about before Tom interrupted?
Compartmentalization and how it affects society and.
Oh yeah, how can this grand deception be hidden from the main population of society? And surely someone would have come forward. But if you think about it, like any organisation, any business, or the military, for example, everything's compartmentalised. The soldiers at the bottom, they don't know why they're doing a task. They're simply told to do the task. And it's not till you get right up into the top echelons that people know the exact reason that mission, as an example?
Yeah, they're just kept in the dark, need to know basis. So why would they have to know at the bottom? They're just like, they could be anywhere in the world when they're doing some of this stuff. You just have to believe what they're told. When they get on a plane, you know, they could be going anywhere, fighting anybody. They're fighting ghosts.
Exactly. So, yeah, they're not, people aren't in the know. So if a teacher is teaching science, they're only repeating information. They're given the curriculum, the outline of the curriculum, and they're not just told what to teach, but also how to teach it. So it's very easy to in my eyes to keep such a grand deception on a large scale.
Well, yeah, they've done a really good job. Just from the education system up.
So while we're talking about education and compartmentalization, how do schools compartmentalize things and compartmentalize
Well,
people?
they put you into, they first divide you into ages, don't they? So you got like just 1 year in difference, and then they put you in forms, and then levels of intelligence, and then you pick what education you want to pursue later in life, you know, that suits you. So then you separate it again, and then you can delve deeper into a specific topic. But it's just that topic, like all the sciences are separated. There's no PhD for all the sciences. You're just getting someone concentrating on one because it's like a life's work to learn it all, and then you can get a doctorate to become an expert, and then people will believe what you say more. But you just like learn your specific little bit, just more of it.
And then if you chose to go on and become an educator of whatever subject, then you're just repeating that process onto the next generation.
Well, they basically tell you what to learn to pass the test. So you're not even learning all the topics. You just learn a specific bit. So you pass that exam. You're not really delving freely into stuff. And if you give it your own interpretation, you know, as a free thinker, would you even pass that exam? You know, you'd just be an instant fail. You got to like conform with your education. It don't allow you a free reign.
No, good point. I did notice that actually in school, because not school, but further education. When it came to doing bits of coursework and stuff, they want you to source where you've got all your information from. And but I was saying, but what if I've just thought of it on my own? You know, what if I came up with it myself? Like, no, you need to find someone else that's already had that idea and source them.
Yeah,
Like,
it'd be like a big fail. Would the teacher get where you're coming from because they're restricted to honour their level of understanding? If you outsmart the teacher, would they like get what you're saying, or would it just be over their head?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that's why I'm a big fail.
Yeah, outsmart the teacher every
time. So yeah, so that's the angle I was coming from when we decided on the topic compartmentalization. I thought, oh yeah, that's perfect because it fits in with how massive lies are kept from the public, you know, because everything's compartmentalized and people don't have all the information. They only have little segments of the information. When you break the word down, compartmentalize, it's literally saying, you know, putting your brain into little boxes.
Yeah.
So you put in different parts of your psyche into different boxes. So when I visualize it, I actually see it as taking your brain apart, you know, not just putting them into little boxes, but like ripping it apart, one little Lego brick at a time. Like,
well, it's like it's mind control, isn't it? That it's, and people just accept it. And you're not supposed to wander from one box to another. You're supposed to stay in your box. And the more educated, I presume, the more, or you know, they got more boxes in the, and it's a defense mechanism then. For, you know, it's linked to cognitive dissonance, isn't it? So is it the level before cognitive dissonance kicks in? Their education.
So before you reach complete cognitive dissonance, compartmentalization kicks in, and you start
regurgitating what you've been told that makes sense to the answers to the questions that you might be putting to them. But once you whir through them, you think, oh, that makes sense. So they've got through that barrier, then you reach cognitive dissonance. And that's when you're triggered then.
And what is cognitive dissonance?
Well, it's like you're going against the belief system. So they sort of reach a denial state where they'll get angry,
right,
frustrated, or given anxiety, feeling uncomfortable.
So before people get to that point, the point that happens is compartmentalization.
That's the first thing you run into, like, so they've got a response to what you say.
So they start tuning out.
They're both linked, aren't they?
Sorry, so they start tuning out the things that don't make sense to them.
No, that makes sense to them, but if you like can deflect them with something that makes even more sense, that can break down what they think makes sense.
Yeah, but
you like breaking through a barrier then.
Yeah, but from the point of view of the person that's going through it, their psyche, because you're having a conversation with someone and you're hitting them with something that goes against what they think they know. So they start tuning out the things that don't make sense to them just to stay with the conversation and trying to make sense of it. But it's like, but then you'd reach that barrier where they hit cognitive dissonance, is what I was trying to. So it's like a stepping stone before someone goes full retard on you.
Yeah.
So
it's breaking through these barriers that have been installed in them through whatever research they've done, mainstream media, the education system.
So I always find that interesting at school. You know, the lessons are broken up. The day itself is compartmentalized. You get to spend an hour on English, and then it's the end of that lesson, and you move to another room. And you get an hour on geography, and it's the end of that lesson. You move to another room, and it goes on like that. So it's like the day at school is compartmentalized.
Oh, don't forget about them ringing the bell, so you forget everything at the end.
Yeah, that's like the little magic trick.
Yeah.
Whilst you're there, you think it's just the signal for you to move on to your next lesson, but it's really like the hypnotist just wiping your memory at the end of his gig.
Yeah, he's just wasted that hour of listening or writing or whatever you've been doing, and just wiped it all away with the ring of a bell, like magic tricks.
Oh, those hypnotists. So just wipe your mind, put your brain into little pieces and little boxes for you, and then wipe it. So by the time you've finished all this school, you're like a closed off little thing.
Well, it's like you just learned to fit into the system rather than actually learn anything of value.
Yeah, so that's what school's really for, isn't it? It's not to
Yeah,
teach you.
indoctrination camps, aren't they? Like, get up at this time, eat at this time, go for a piss.
Horrendous, isn't it?
Yeah, like, you can't have holidays no more out of term. So, like, they're controlling what the parents do into their time. You got to fit into their sort of schedule, and it's just everyone just goes along with it because who are we to question?
Oh, the Astral Thief says hello. Hello, Astral Thief. Oh, he says, good stuff, you and John Smith. Nice touring. Please seeing you tour.
Right, cheers. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
For anyone that's interested, I'm going to Scotland next week. I was supposed to be going today, but I'm that unorganised. I'm going on Friday instead now. I've only known about it for 3 months, but
I thought you'd got a calendar this year and you're like going to be organised and put stuff on it.
I forget to look at it.
Is that what it is?
Oh, it's right there in the kitchen. I spend all my time in the kitchen, and I just have this natural aversion to schedules and stuff. It's like it's just built into me. I can't help it. I am trying though, try to write things down, try to remember to look at the things that I've written down, and it's just like
it's probably best. You're just averting pressure. You just can't stand the pressure.
Yeah, well, this is me compartmentalizing. So that's how I do it. So yeah, the whole psychology behind compartmentalization, that's an interesting thing because I didn't actually know that it is a defense mechanism.
Well, I didn't know that till I saw that it was linked to psychology today, and the purpose of the word looks like it's more created for the psychological side than anything else. It's a powerful word, and we should be using it a bit more.
In what way do you think?
Well, it just describes things perfectly, doesn't it? All the system is all segregated and split up into own little boxes, and you only really got an opinion that anyone wants to listen to if you got a doctorate or you're an expert. But that's
Right, so
it these days, really. Don't mean you understand. Well, it just means you understand that particular field, but it depends what that field is, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. So when you say we should be using it more, did you mean just like pointing it out to people?
Well, yeah,
more?
just like using it in discussions and things, and the question why, and can they hide the lie? And it's easy. Just the people at the top are the only ones who really need to know the lie, and everyone else is just too busy doing the job.
Yeah, just doing what they're told.
Yeah, and a lot of them jobs are just data and figures and digits, and that's all they are, just processing data, information that way. Just just engrossed in what they're doing.
Yeah. I had this visual thought then that I'll share with the whole of YouTube. When you're saying about people inputting data and stuff and being embroiled in the work that they do, I imagine like the whole of society as like a big computer board and everyone just doing, the little Do you know if anyone can decipher that?
Yeah, well, half the jobs are pointless jobs, aren't they? Like call centers and PPI centers and just like
what is a PPI?
These call centers that say you like add insurance on a loan from years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're ringing you up, and the people doing it is just people making money out of your misery.
There's a few more people I need to say hello to because I'm really crap at this. Hello to Roxanne Glenn. She's been busy this weekend.
Oh, she's putting loads of stuff out. Credit to her.
Skyfly BRI. Skyfly Breed. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, if I miss people out, apologies. I'm too busy looking up the definition of compartmentalization because I'm really unorganized. No, I'm only joking. No, I'm telling the truth. Talking about our life's compartmentalized, our compartmentalization's used against us on many levels. Like talking generally about how the truth's hidden from the public and people can't comprehend how such a grand deception can be kept from the main population and over extended periods of time. But when you understand compartmentalization, it's quite simple. It's just the people at the top, they've got all the information, and as the levels come down, each level underneath gets less and less information. They're just given a specific job to do, and that's what they do.
Well, it's like the flat Earth movement. It's like, oh, we've come so far, and it's like because the lie's been so well hidden that they have no protocol in place for the information getting out. So it's like, do you stop it unless you tell people that it needs to be stopped, and that's just blowing the cover then, isn't it? So they just had to let it just grow itself.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah. Do you think this was in the contingency, part of the contingency?
I mean, it's wonder, you know, it's come this far. They could just shut it down. You know, they could shut it down years ago, but they haven't let it be out there. But then you got to think, you know, is it because no one really knows about it? Then it'd be difficult to, you know, when the lie gets out, no one's like, no, they don't know. It's like a wildfire, but they've nothing in place to stop it.
So, do you think
they forgot about it because it worked? The lie worked so well, you know.
Yeah, we was in such a deep slumber. They thought they're never getting up. They're never getting out of bed.
Oh shit! Fucking 9/11, pulling that one and getting away with it. It's like
I never fell for that. Just for the record.
Well, I did. Just for the record.
That's all right.
That woke me up. That's one of the reasons, the main reasons. I mean, yeah, you know, lost my trust in government through seeing those actions and what were at play and the real fuckery that went on all levels.
What was the first thing about 9/11 that felt out of place for you?
It's just the way the buildings dropped.
So as you was watching it, basically.
Just well organised it would have had to be to do it, and the coincidences that were in place, and there's just too many. And all you need to do is look into it, and then that's enough. I mean, just pay attention to it, and then you'll see that everything's there to point in the direction of it being an inside job. So it's just having that mindset to accept the information that you're being shown, because you can't deny it. It's fucking facts.
But at what point after 9/11 did you start thinking this is a bit fishy?
Oh, not till probably about 4 years ago.
All right.
So I believed it for all them years. I didn't question it. It just, at the time, I just like, yeah, wow, that's fucking amazing, you know, just like in awe at it. It's like destruction was done on that day. A man in a cave.
your we'll call it an awakening. It's fairly recent then.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So once you got into the 9/11 deception,
yeah,
once you fell down that rabbit hole, you've never really come back out of it, have you? You just kept, kept going and kept going and kept going.
well, I remember seeing a video with someone with the Morpheus thing with the red pill and the blue one. I'm like, look, you check this out. I watched it with my brother. I'm like, this is a bit like, dramatic and shit. And it's going to change your life, turn it off now or watch it. And, it's like, I want to watch this. And it probably did change my life. There's like loads of conspiracies in that.
Do you remember exactly what it was, or?
No, I'm looking for it recently, but no, I couldn't find it.
What was your brother's take on it?
Well, he's still sound asleep, so it didn't impress him much.
Right, so he still believes along the lines of the official narrative.
Yeah, he thinks Trump's going to save everybody.
Well, I've never had any trust in the government or anything like that, and I was never one for watching the news, so I wasn't like heavily under the influence of the mainstream media. But I was quite naive, I still am quite naive and don't think that people just set out to do devious shit for the sake of doing devious stuff. So on the morning of 9/11, I'd been out to get a pint of milk and when I came back, everyone was all excited and stood around the TV. And I was looking, he said, a plane's just flown into the World Trade Center. I didn't know what the World Trade Center was. I had no idea. I was like, oh, right, fucking horrific. Like thinking about all those people that have just died and stuff because some drunk airline pilot, descended too soon or whatever. And then I could see on the TV screen another plane. I'm thinking that's not gonna. And then it hit the building. And honestly, like I went into a bit of shock. I think, like for the next couple of hours, and I was just thinking. My initial thought was, what a coincidence! Like two drunk pilots on the same day crash into two twin buildings. Like, couldn't believe the coincidence. That's what I was in awe of. But then they started, terrorism, like, and like within half an hour they knew we'd done it. But when they started talking about maybe those buildings are going to fall over or whatever, I was like, nah, are they? They're built to withstand that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I live near a nuclear power station, and I always remember a big thing because people get distressed about such things on the doorstep, and I always remember adults at the time saying, how reinforced the building is, and a jumbo jet could fly into it and it wouldn't make a dent, things like that. So I was thinking, there's no way these buildings are going to fall. And then they did, but I recognised it as a demolition instantly because you could see the building shudder, like tremor, just before they went.
I've got an echo there, I think.
Okay. Is it still there?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. It's just a delay.
I can still hear you.
No, I've got a delay, that's all. It'll be all right.
Oh, you've got a delay. Okay.
No, it's better now.
Oh, good. So I seen the shudder, but when I was a kid, my dad took us to watch, the demolition of old chimney stacks because he was a miner, and it was like the end of all the pits. So he took us to a few demolitions. So it's like my eyes just zoned in on that tremor. and I recognised it instantly as a demolition, but I compartmentalised it and put it in the back of my brain, and for about 2 days was believing that some man in a cave had orchestrated it all, and that some planes had really been hijacked. And all the rest of it.
Well, you never think that the government would do that to their own people, would they?
No.
It's like you just wouldn't think that.
Exactly.
But now, with where things, I think things have changed to a point where you have to start scrutinising the government, because they're like showing that their intentions are all in our benefit, on like in quite a lot of ways.
Yeah, of course. My advice this week to anybody that catches this hangout is to scrutinise the government, everything they tell you, from every angle.
Yeah, I think they're like brainwashed more than anyone, because they have to watch every word they say. They have to be so informed with all the crap that they're involved in. So they just like stick their noses into all that. Do they know what's really going on? All of them, like you say.
No, I think it would be another case of compartmentalization. We're going to use this word to death because it's the theme of the show. Most of them, in my opinion, and I don't follow politics that much, but they'll have, first of all, they'll have their own party's agenda.
Yeah, because they all just read from the same book, so they must have to follow a script or something. They must get like a memos every day to say this is what we're saying, and you have, because none of them are allowed to step out of line, are they? They're all just saying exactly the same thing.
That's where that saying
their own particular interest of party, like.
Yeah, towing the party line.
That's all they ever do.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a case of, so they've got like their own party's agenda, and then it's split down into regions or whatever. Then they'll have their own regional agendas that they've got set, and then they'll have their own personal agendas, which is just usually greed,
It's more like power than greed, because a lot of them are born with large amounts of money straight in the bank. It's like George Osborne, he was born with £4 million in the bank. I mean, why do you want to work or like spend all your life devoted to being a politician and being like everyone scrutinising everything you do? I mean, he's got all that money. He's got to be power on it and control.
Yeah, if you're born into that kind of money, you've got no reason to be working 80-hour weeks, pushing pens and paper and trying to get people behind you, because there's just no need, is there? You've got everything to your heart's content. So I think power is a very a massive motivation for people. I've never had any, so I wouldn't know. So I don't even know if it interests me. I don't even know if I would like it.
No, the pressure would get to me.
Oh God, you quit before you started, you.
I'm a defeatist. Oh, it's too much.
Yeah, you'd be expected to make decisions and stuff, and you'd just crumble.
Yeah.
That's the kind of leader I want. I'm the president.
I got too much empathy. But like, you wouldn't want to see anyone suffering, would you, if you was running a country?
Yeah.
They must just have the blinkers on.
Well, there's no need for anyone to suffer, is there? Like, someone said the other day, oh, what would you do if you was president for a day? I'm like, oh, I'd get rid of all governments. That's what I would do. Oh, but the country would go to ruins. No, the country's in ruins. Oh, people would starve. No, they wouldn't. Everyone would be able to eat because no one would be charging for food. It's like, because if you think about it, like, I'm just like generalizing. But if you want the city you live in, everything's already in place. The infrastructure's already built. So you've got buildings the hospital's already there, but you know, schools and all the rest of it, councils, the roads are built, houses are built, you know, there's more empty houses than there are homeless people, which is disgusting. So there's no need for anyone to suffer. And if I was government, if I was leader of the land, nobody would be paying for shelter, for heating, for water, for food. Nobody, you know, it's just like there's no other species, like I'm not saying that with animals, but like the government are, but there's no other species that pay in that manner just to survive, you know.
It's like the government should be paying us because they're a corporation. They're making money off our backs, using our good name. You know, this your flag. The money they invest isn't their money; it's our tax money. But they just want to focus on throwaway shit like the armed forces and bombs and new battleships. It's just like giving strawberries to a donkey because it's all obsolete in 10 years' time anyway. So it's just like never ending pool of money that's just going constantly.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week, didn't we? Like money and energy and
yeah, energy, all that energy, it's just negative shit.
It's really what it boils down to, and just controlling that flow of energy, which is our physical energy, which is represented in paper money. But these people don't even deal with money. They don't go to, you know, if the real higher ups, they don't even pay for things with cash. They don't even use it. So it's not really about that, is it? It's, in my opinion, it's about the energy and the flow of energy.
Yeah, and it's just like constant. So where's the end of it? I can't see if we continue the way we're continuing. There is no end, is there? It's just more of the same.
No, we're not going to continue the way that we've been continuing, have we? We told everyone last week we're having a revolution.
Yeah.
Ignore your government, people, and rule your own life. You don't need them. They're masters of their own ship.
Well, I think people are just going to have to start standing up for themselves because we're getting walked over at the moment.
Yeah.
It's sad to see, but it's real.
It is. So we're talking about compartmentalization this evening, for anyone that's just joined us, and how it's used against us to keep information hidden from us, and also the psychology of compartmentalization, how it's humans use it as a defense mechanism to protect their own psyche, basically. So, for example, if I was in a high-powered job, you know, and I've got children and I've got a life and I've got a home to keep, and it's a really important job that brings in millions of pounds every day, let's say, just being optimistic.
Yeah, give yourself a good job.
Most people would be crushed under that kind of pressure, but people that are really successful in society are really good at compartmentalizing things. So whatever it is that they're working on in that time, they'll give it all their energy and all the focus, but then they've got a cut-off point, say, 11 o'clock, they'll cut off and they won't think about that again until the next day when they've got to, and then they're on to the next job at hand, and they'll put all their energy and all the focus and all the drive into that task, and then there's a cut-off and they're on to the next task, and then at the end of the day, you cut off completely from that, leave your work at work, and you go on and you deal with your family or whatever. And life gives us all kinds of problems all the time, like it throws spanners in the works all the time.
Thinking truly, ever shut off, like what you say, you're at 11 o'clock and you shut off, you take, when you've got pressure like that, you're taking it home or you live in that job. But that's part of the illusion of it all, they get like embroiled, proper stuck into it, and it becomes their life. and then they become institutionalized without even realizing. You think you can only be institutionalized in jails or something like that, but no, people, the jobs and the careers are institutionalized, and their education. It's sort of like.
So, institutionalized compartmentalization.
Yeah.
For you, everybody. Yeah, you're really throwing it at me tonight, Aaron.
People don't realise it till shit happens and their life like changes, they lose a job or something, and then they're like a bit at a loose end.
Yeah.
Or retire, people die shortly after retirement because they don't know what to do with life. They become that job.
Yeah, that's very sad. I have seen that a few times.
Yeah, but it's real. It's like common.
Yeah, once people are retired, they feel useless to society. They don't know how to fill up their own time because they don't really know themselves, because throughout the whole lifetime they've never given themselves the time to get to know themselves and to get to know what really makes them tick and what really gives them real joy in life. They've just had this job that's taken up all their energy and all the time, and it's given, that's feeling of self-worth. And then when that comes to an end, it just sends them into plunges them into like a deep
depression because they've no structure no
more. Yeah, so that's like institutionalized to the max without actually being locked up.
No. See all the time.
Without being physically locked up anyway.
No, it's a prison for the mind though, isn't it?
Yeah.
From school into a job, and if you take some time off, depressed or something, and it's like there's something wrong with you, you're not fitting the system, you're not a productive human no more. It's like, and there's no real system there to support you. Allow you for a few months, but then they don't want to know. And it's like there's a problem with you rather than anything else.
Yeah. It can't ever be the fact that your spirit has recognised a problem with the way things are.
Yeah, everyone's dying inside doing these 50 hours a week.
It's not computing with this reality anymore, and so there's something wrong with you. So yeah, that's really sad that like someone spent their whole lives, in their mind giving to society, and then all of a sudden that's come to an end and they've retired and they just give up and die.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad I retired early and found myself.
Yeah, I'm glad I retired early as well.
I think everyone should take early retirement. I watched a comedian once.
Awoken people don't really make for good slaves, do they?
What do you mean?
Doing 40 hours a week when you're aware of what's going on and all the system really works is a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, and it's hard for you to go back to working for
it's like
hours.
Double 40 hours because you're waiting every minute of it because you know what you're doing. It's like you're selling an hour of your life for £10 or £12 an hour.
Yeah. What's basic wage? It's not that, it's really low. It's about £8 an hour. Ridiculous. You imagine that's all you're worth, £8 an hour.
Well, I'm a plumber, so I get paid a little bit more, but it still kills me.
Mentally, you mean?
Inside, man. I'm dying every minute that I'm doing a job for somebody else. It's like, I don't think I can do it no more, but never say never.
A comedian once said, that's what I was going to tell you, that, society's fucked basically, but if everyone just worked 2 days a week, it's all anyone needs to work, because like I just said, everything's already in place, and everyone just work 2 days a week in something they love doing, everybody everything would just run so much smoother because everyone would be happier, and people won't be pulling sickies and going off with depression for 6 months or, bad back and stuff. They're working.
It's like the people doing the worst, shittiest jobs. They're getting paid the worst, shittiest money, and it's like because they're getting paid peanuts, they got to work twice as hard to get the money in, and it's like wiping people's asses and cleaning up at toilets and real nasty jobs, and they're just paying them shit basic money, and it's all wrong. And it's like some twat in an office just fucking making thousands of pounds a month for doing hardly anything, seems to be where things are. Football players, 90 grand a week, kicking a ball about, what I'd sooner be doing.
Kicking a ball about?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go and play football, but how much do they get paid?
Something about 90 grand a week or something silly like that.
Yeah, that sounds like a good basic wage, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's all right, isn't it? It's just like...
Yeah, that'd be the next thing I did if I was government. I put basic wage up to 90 grand a week. There you go.
So the career's only 10 years, but who's guaranteed like their health for 50 years? But they expect the sheeple's health to be guaranteed till they're 65. You got the banking on it, like with these pensions, everything's for the future. I'll be all right when I retire. It's like fucking hell. I won't feel comfortable with the government having all my money tucked away in their greedy.
Well, that happened not long ago, didn't it? It was in the last 10 years anyway, but when everyone's pensions just disappeared one night, poof.
Yeah, and like people saying, "Oh, it's all right, it's covered. Everything's covered back 50 grand these days." It's like, who's covering that? Because if the shit is to fan big time, there's going to be no one there to cover it.
The safest place for your money is under your mattress.
And then they keep changing the currency every 5 years, keeping on top of that.
Oh yeah, I just take all my. I only have coppers. I just take my coppers once a week. But then they only give you a ticket for shopping. I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend it here.
Oh, is that what they dispense now? Like a receipt shopping? They used to give you cash if you went to one of the tills and weighed it in.
They've got a machine now. Everything's on machine.
Yeah, I should know better, should I?
Yeah. That person's out of a job now.
I know. I always make sure I go to a man till when I go to the supermarket. That's me doing that a little bit.
Yeah, that's you giving back to society. I don't go to any till when I go to the supermarket. And if I was government, nobody else would either. So, I hope everyone's keeping score here.
Yeah, so I said Zannie for president in the comments last week, so I can see that you picked up on that. Just being open there.
Well, yeah, and I entered you into the not debate. What's it? Into the running before.
I'll be in the shadows, just like telling you, like,
what
think.
Shadow government.
Yeah, they seem to be the ones with all the power, don't they?
I've found the shadow government.
Someone's shadowing me.
Yeah, no, it's right, though, isn't it? So we've got 2-day weeks, 90 grand basic wage.
2-day weeks, that's like nailed on.
Oh, I've got it sussed.
We've got a meeting in the middle. We're not greedy. 90 grand's a bit much. Something like, 5 grand a month would be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need anything silly, do you?
Well, like, they just pay us such shitty wages that you got to work all these hours to make ends meet. But it's been like a slow water torch. Everything's just stagnated for the last 20 years to where this, like, inflation's gauged on milk and bread. And you got supermarket, everything's like really dear except milk and bread. To keep that low, but that's all just to mess with the figures, statistics.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, like inflation's based on them things. It's like everything else just like is ridiculously expensive.
Sugar tax. What happened there?
Sugar tax.
That just happened recently, sugar tax.
Well, do you not feel healthier now? You're paying a bit more tax on your sugar.
Miles more.
My teeth are glistening, I tell you.
I feel miles better, and I never bought sugar anyway, but or anything that sugar's in, you know, like fizzy pop and stuff.
Oh.
So it's not had an impact on me, but I've noticed it in other people complaining about it, you know, complaining about how much the Coke costs now. I'm like, yeah, 50 quid a pop. It's always been dear.
Yeah.
But, you know, like,
that's some good shit.
And you know how much the sugar tax is, but it doesn't directly affect me. So
well, everything's £1 or £2 or £3. You know, like 48p or there's nothing like that. In the middle. Everything's just rounded up to £1 now. So when you go shopping, you put a few things in your basket. It's like, fucking hell, I've spent 50 quid here.
Yeah, we're talking about money, and you know everything's £1, and it all sounds like real good value at the time, but you know it's not. I've been trying to teach my little boy the value of money, like not getting deep into it, but just the monetary value of things. Like this is a penny, this is £1, there's 100 of them in this, you know, and we've got and I'm showing him all the money, all the different denominations of the money, and at the same time telling him, "Oh, you'll never really ever use that one." You know, we've got that, but you won't really use that one either. You'll just end up collecting them. Like it's complicated.
Yeah, it's like you don't even use coppers at all these days, do you? It's like they're missing the decimals all of a sudden.
Yeah, it never used to be like that, did it? Everything used to be like 22p, or you know, we used to use all of the money, but yeah, everything's just been rounded up to £1.
Yeah, and
Oh,
sorry,
we've got a question. I think we should address it. It says, Brenda von Ashen says, why do you think the Earth is flat?
Observations that you can do yourself. It's just get a decent camera and go up a mountain and see how far you can see. And we're seeing a lot further than you should be able to.
Even on level ground.
Well, there should be some like measurable curvature.
Yeah, there's no measurable curvature.
The natural physics of water, it lies flat.
The fakery of space, the International Space Station.
Yeah, all the fake stuff on that.
So
fake moon landing, and Martin Kenny were on ITV today. Did a great job.
I've not seen it yet.
Did you watch it?
No, I've not seen it.
Well, it was like a 11-minute interview, and he did a really good job. But then they butchered it and put it on YouTube and cut it down to like 6 minutes.
Oh, Brenda von Ashen can see the curve.
You can she?
Anyway, go on. Yeah, but go on, you can cut down.
Go on, move on anyway. What's there's 200 proofs?
My first 200 proofs, or?
No, I'm telling the lady.
Oh, right, okay. So go on, talking about Martin Kenny.
Oh yeah, he did a great job, but they butchered the interview this morning. They've got a YouTube channel and they put it out, but I went on looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it. So it looks like, I don't know, they've moved it.
So you watched it live, did you, on TV?
No, I watched it on Plus. I watched the last bit of it live and I had to wait till Plus one come on an hour later.
Okay, so but you watched it,
and then I watched. They put the whole thing on there, and it was really good. He well won the debate. She just didn't have any real decent answers to give back to him, and he got his points across. But the editors chopped it up, butchered it.
for anyone that's watching that isn't into the Flat Earth movement or anything like that, Martin Kenny is an independent researcher, and has his own theories on Earth and the universe. You can find him on YouTube, and if you type in Martin Kenny,
Cosmic Egg,
and you'll come to some of his presentations. And you also find him on my channel from last year.
Label it Martin Kenny interview, because I looked for that interview and I couldn't find it.
I will take that advice, and I will pop a link in the description box for people, because he does have some very interesting ideas.
Yeah, he's taking all the philosophies and all the ancient religions and just trying to make sense of it all, and he does a really good job.
But today what happened was he was invited onto ITV, which is a British broadcasting network, onto one of the morning...
Good Morning Britain.
Good Morning Britain, to discuss the moon landings, because he thinks the moon landings are faked. I agree with him. And he was to talk with what they called physicist.
Yeah, cosmologist as well, was she, or something?
I heard a rumour, and I won't say where it's come from, that after because I've got this third hand, but after the debate, she left the set in tears.
Well, she looked really triggered. She's like a boiling kettle. She wanted to explode, but she held it together.
Oh, okay. So she was just at the compartmentalization stage.
Yeah, you could see it.
Full cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
But it hit her by the time they left set anyway, because she left the set crying. So I hope she's feeling better. And when it sinks in that the moon landings are fake and her education's fake, and she needs some support, we're going to be here for her.
Well, I think that Edmund Holmes is a bit of a conspiracy buff, because I'm sure I watched an interview with him interviewing David Icke this week. I think I might have watched that. So he must be into this conspiracy thing. So I wonder if that's why they invited him on, so they could get a little bit more information about it.
Edmund Holmes.
Is Edmund doing his little bit for the truth movement?
Yeah, he's not called Edmund, he's called Eamon.
Eamon, sorry about that.
There's no D in it at all. Eamon Holmes.
Eamon.
No.
Eamon.
Like Damon, but with an A, without the D. What's the other one you always do? Oh, pedicure.
Pedicure.
Yes, pedicure. That one does have a D. Yeah. So anyway, you're not a TV buff, otherwise you'd know his name, so that's good. I was going to ask you if you watched it live on TV, because I was going to ask you if you had a license to do so.
Well, sort of. I set the timer on it, but I forgot, like, I'm making a smoothie, so I missed the first 8 minutes or something.
Right, so
I just got lost in my own thought and forgot about it for a minute. But like I say, I watched it on the +1 an hour later.
I'm only asking because I got a letter from the TV licensing people today. From the enforcement officer had stamped it with a red stamp.
Oh, you're in big trouble now. The big red stamps come out.
I don't know where the viewers are from, but in the UK, you actually need a license to watch live television. So, in my mind, a license is something that can, you've got to agree to certain conditions to carry out whatever it is you want to carry out, like fishing or driving. You've got to agree to the set rules. And if you don't agree to them, then your license can be revoked. But I don't think anyone's ever had the TV license revoked, for irresponsibly brainwashing the children, or watching too much morning telly, or too much Jeremy Kyle, because that will fuck anybody's head up.
They make it sound like it's a qualification. You like earn something to revoke it, and you'd be like, "Oh no, I've lost my license. What we're gonna do?" Is if you're like producing something yourself.
So I don't know how far it's going to go. I keep just ignoring these letters what come through the door, because I've never had a TV license and I'm not getting one, and I don't watch it, so they can nap off.
I think we might have one at our house, but it's like, yeah.
Well, you're not in charge anyway, because they ever knock on the door, you say, oh, it's my dad's.
Someone else sorts that shit out.
Yeah. So, also, if I was government, I'll just call myself government, there would be no TV license. There'd be no TV anyway. So there you go. I don't know if that's going to go for or against me, but yeah, no, we're not having TV licenses and we're not having TV.
We could use the television in a good way to educate people about, you know, all bad, like, how to spot a chemtrail or like what vaccines do to the ingredients, and like use it as proper education.
As a real educational tool rather than
it has a purpose because it works great, doesn't it? Just look at the general population. So if you could use that for good, like a superhero.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do because the kids are at that age where when the door knocks or someone knocks at the door, they go running to it. Whereas my first instinct has always been to hide behind the sofa. So I'm going to have to train them up not to go running to answer the door. But if I do ever accidentally open the door on the TV licensing people, then I'm just going to explain that A, I don't need a license to be brainwashed, and B, I wouldn't support anyone that openly protects paedophiles. And if you come to my doorstep again, I'll treat you as if I would treat a paedophile protector. And I've got a lot of age for that shit, so...
Yeah, just say I don't consent to what you do with the money and, you know, where it's going. And, like, the covering up of these prolific paedophiles, because there's no other explanation for them to have been covering up and probably helping them out, like, you know, fresh fodder.
Let them have a little kids
and that.
And stuff like
The
that.
schools are taking them though, so they're being really like watched. They're taking like buzzloads of school kids there on a daily like rota. They're still doing it now.
Yeah, you can go and watch Blue Peter and stuff. It's all in the studio. I'd never ever even consider it. But
parents fully aware of what goes on at these places.
I don't know if anyone's not aware. I think we should tell them now. Because we're having kind of a closed conversation here that I don't think a lot of viewers would understand what we're talking about. But there was a very famous TV presenter in England that was good friends with the royal family, and he had loads of TV shows. He was a disc jockey. He did Top of the Pops.
Can you not say his name?
Yeah, he's called Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, I went past his house when we were going up to Scotland, and he's just like a little bungalow in the middle of nowhere, like no house near it for like 5 miles in each direction, facing a mountain. And you can imagine the Hunger Games going on there with that dirty bastard. And he could run a marathon, couldn't he? You'd never fucking get away from him.
Oh, he could run a marathon. That was his favourite pastime after...
yeah, chasing them little fucking kiddies down, the dirty bastard.
So, yeah, Jimmy Savile was a prolific paedophile that worked for the BBC, was close friends or close acquaintance to the royal family. And after he died, it came out that he was this prolific sexual predator that had a penchant for dead bodies and the likes. And they tried to make out like they'd never known anything of it, but it came to light that hundreds of accusations had been levied against him in the past, and everyone was...
It may have went, if I went, can you get me an house and I'd like it inside a mental institute if you don't mind? You think, oh, that's a bit weird. Should we not look into this guy a little bit further, you know? It's like, but it just went on, didn't it?
Oh, Victoria Rose is here. Good evening, Victoria Rose.
Yeah. I watched them last night on. I think it was Roxanne's Hangout, and with the Russian vids are on it. Yeah, did a good job, guys.
Yeah, you did a really good job. I caught about half an hour, 45 minutes of it just before bed. Disputable Reality, Big Love. That's Tom, by the way.
Oh yeah, Tom. Yo, man.
Yeah, that's what I listened to last night. Tom talking about the straw man and legal fictions and stuff. You did a good job, mate.
Yeah, bravo.
Then I went to bed because I was too tired, and that hangout lasted like 5 hours.
I didn't watch it all. I just watched a little bit. But it was pretty interesting.
So anyway, that's on Roxanne Glenn's channel on YouTube, so people can go and have a look at that. Well, we've just been talking about like the darker side of the BBC, and that I just use that as the whole paedophile thing.
There's the compartmentalization again.
But I just use it as a reasonable argument because it is a reasonable argument. I'm not giving those.
Well, it is, isn't it? It's like.
But in reality, anyway, regardless of that fact, I still would never, in a million years, purchase a TV license. And I don't think anyone else should have to. It's a stealth tax. It's not a license. It will never be revoked. No one will ever come and knock on your door and say you're watching too much of that. You might do yourself some permanent brain injury. Or you're letting your children watch too much of this. You're going to damage them for the future. No one's going to do that. No one's going to revoke your license. It's not a license. It's a tax, a stealth tax, because they're cloaking it as something else that it's really not.
Well, it's a product, isn't it? The BBC, they pump it out everywhere. It's like worldwide, and we're funding it.
Yeah, and we're not going to fund them.
Propaganda. I mean, it's nothing in our benefit ever comes from that channel. No news is good news. It's all bollocks in it from the BBC. And every other channel just says exactly what the BBC says. Like, if you think Channel 4 is any different, then you're deeply mistaken. And even RT is supposed to be independent and frowned upon, but they're just saying the same shit.
Well, I was doing media studies when I left school, and in my first media studies class, we was told that Channel 4 isn't an independent TV broadcaster, and I thought it was simply because they have the advertisements, and that's how most networks fund the shows with the advertisement segments, because people pay big money for it. And because Channel 4 had advertisements, I just presumed that they were independent, but they're not. They're government owned.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Just watch it for 10 minutes and you'll understand that it's government owned. You don't even need anyone to tell you. It's like, it's quite an extreme point of view they're giving out. It's really quite narrow-minded, and they repeat it constantly. Slow speak and pointing with a thumb, with the weak points. It's all there, and when you can see it, you can't ignore it when you know what you're looking for.
Chris UK in the house. Good evening, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, so for the viewers, the main topic of discussion this evening is compartmentalization. What is compartmentalization and how it works in society? So, see, this is a bit that real people on real TV shows have to do. They have to repeat themselves, and it just like I just feel scripted, and I'm only not even looking at anything. So yeah, we've just been talking mainly about how massive lies can be kept from the public. Like faking the moon landings, the physical reality of the place that we live in.
Well, take the moon landings, for instance. I mean, them astronauts believed they were going to the moon until they didn't. And then you can see the looks on the faces when they knew that they were going to have to live a life for the rest of their lives. They were gutted, and they should have been celebrating because they made it back to Earth alive. They completed a miracle, basically.
They did look
really happy about it. So there you go. You know.
they look like someone had just died.
Yeah, like the Rome funeral, thinking, "Oh, we're going to pull this off."
Yeah, no one's ever going to believe this.
No, and they did.
Yeah.
I bet they're like thinking, "Fucking hell, that were easy."
Oh dear. So do you think they actually did believe they were going to the moon?
I think before they went there, they believed it because they're like all like, "Woohoo, yeah." It's probably like the film someone mentioned, Capricorn 1. You know, they found out when they sat in that rocket on that launch pad when they pulled them out through one of the.
And they said they got a little message in the earpiece saying, "Can everyone come out through the escape hatch, please?"
Yeah.
And they all go through that little slide. Whee!
Come this way, I got something to tell you. You're going on an holiday.
3 days in a Hollywood studio.
Yeah.
Oh, poor buggers. Do you feel?
They made a deal with the devil, didn't they?
Yeah. Do you have any empathy for those astronauts?
I think you can have empathy for anyone if you choose to give it to them.
But I'm asking you personally, do you have any empathy for the astronauts today? The ones that were supposed to go to the moon?
No, they've played a cruel trick on mankind, haven't they? I mean, it's a lot bigger than just them. It's just like their own selfish serving attitude has got them into that position and dragged us all into it with them.
Yeah.
So no, they don't deserve any.
That's quite harsh of you, Aaron. You're usually
Well, you dug it out of me, didn't you? You needed to hear them words.
Yeah. I still have a bit of empathy for them. I can still, to a certain degree, just because you can see it on them. It looks like they literally got the weight of the world on the shoulders. You know, poor Buzz. He's like some drug-addled alcoholic, filling his guts to a little kiddie. You know, just in the hopes that he might get through the pearly gates.
Well, it's like they're making these celebrities now, like Elon Musk, out of it. You know, Iron Man, just coincidentally, the guy with all the gadgets. And you know what? What's his motivation? Is it just money and just an actor?
I think he's just an actor.
You know, is he believing that he's going to be carrying on the charade for 60 years till he's an old man, or has he been given like a 10-year contract and he's just got to do that for then and then he'll just disappear?
I've got no idea.
It's like DeGrasse Tyson and people like that, you know.
Yeah, I think the people that are in it today that have got into it, you know, in their lifetime since that we pretended to go to the moon. I think those people. I don't know exactly what they know, you know, about the totality of Earth. But for example, Elon Musk knows 100% that he's not sent a car to Mars. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's.
And he knows that's a con job. And if he is really a businessman like he's supposed to be, and the history that you can Google on him is true, then he's just in it for his own personal gain because he's like, oh yeah, they already believe this. It's not that hard, you know. We'll tell them we've got a colony on Mars this time next year, you know. So.
Well, it's either to take the fall, like, you know, NASA take a step back, they're not doing any moon launches no more. It's all down to Elon Musk. Everyone forget about NASA doing their, like, misleading mankind, and he'll be the fall guy. Is that how it's all going to be set up?
Well, yeah, I think so because, well, let's take Stephen Hawking for example. Like they couldn't roll that out forever, but they did have to keep it going till they had another genius, you know, in the hot seat. This one without wheels. So they hired that smiling twat. What's his name?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
No, the British guy.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. So they hired Brian Cox, they've groomed him for the position, and then they've let the Stephen Hawking's character die off. So Elon Musk is he's taken that for the Americans. So, you know, NASA's dying a death. The International Space Station has got to go soon or get revamped. So they brought in a fresh face for it. So they'll probably spend a few years grooming him and the public for that position, and then it'll happen. He'll be the fall guy.
So, right, I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't believe what he's saying. He's just there like a wordsmith. He's like knows his line. But I believe Brian Cox believes what he's saying is true. He's like really deeply indoctrinated, compartmentalized.
I'd agree with that observation.
Yeah, he's like when you see him broach the subject, he's really triggered. Like, and it looks genuine.
Especially with the moon landing.
Everything that he's led to believe, but you know, is that MK Ultra in effect?
Well, yeah, I don't think he's been tortured since he was a child, and you know, or anything like that. But I think MK Ultra is a lot more subtle in its workings, and so is hypnotism. So yeah, I think he's fully indoctrinated. I think that he believes his education, and it's not just a script for him, although he's given a script. And talking about him being triggered, I'm just going to give us both a pat on the back because we actually personally triggered him when no, there was me, you,
Rich.
Leslie Rushworth, and Rachel. We went to a Brian Cox gig and we basically heckled the crowd on the way in, and he complained about us during his speech. So that was good.
Got escorted off the premises.
The timing of that was very weird because the very next day was that, and it's at the same venue. So the Brian Cox gig was at the Manchester Arena, and the very next day was the Ariana Grande gig where everyone got blown to smithereens.
Yeah, the very next day that we were walking around where that bomb was supposedly gone off because we was looking for a McDonald's at the time.
And what was it that everywhere was tarped off? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was shut off, and there was like a lot of beady eyes looking like they didn't want us there.
Yeah.
No one actually said anything.
So it was as if Manchester Arena was already prepped for some kind of big event.
They was doing a dry run with Brian Cox. I mean, he's a perfect person to do a setup for the next day, you know.
Yeah, because we were finding it strange that even that McDonald's on that concourse would be shut because it's such a busy place and it's money, 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 money. Why would that McDonald's be shut on that day and all those shops like closed off from people?
Yeah, they didn't want anyone congregating in that area, did they?
No.
So then, like hundreds of people in it the day after, but you know, it could be. I don't know.
No, well, I wasn't there the day after, so I don't really know where it went down. But it just
seemed a bit red flagged, in it.
It's very red flaggy, especially with the mainstream media being down there the very next day and interviewing like parents of people that were supposed to have been there. Like, I remember this interview with this woman and a daughter. Like, why would she bring a daughter back to that place the very next day? Would she not be suffering like from some traumatic stress? You know, you wouldn't inflict that on your child, would you?
No, and people seem too forgiving who'd supposedly lost children. It's like, this isn't what someone who's grieving would really sound like. You'd be slightly angry. You wouldn't just be totally submissive and not real. And some of the footage at the time,
I'm just going to put it out there, it was fake.
I think some of it was fake, definitely, yeah. I don't. Yeah. And then they started victimising homeless people because apparently an homeless guy went in and pickpocketed all the dead bodies, and it's like,
it's just
another agenda to create an enemy.
Well,
So
that,
like fucking homeless people, scumbags. So the job's done there. So everything's like you get the propaganda in there one way or another. Their agenda.
well, they always do. They always multi-layer things.
Everything's like multi-layered. It's just like one day after the other. Just pay a little bit of attention.
Good evening.
Armed troops on the street, 5,000 armed troops suddenly walking the streets of Britain and everyone cheering them on, bravo.
Sorry to try and interrupt you there. An important point. Just saying good evening to everybody equals mind control squared. There's another tongue twister for you. Ruben's in the house. Good evening. Yeah, so it just goes on many levels, doesn't it? And they don't just push one agenda. Like
I'd sooner not stick my neck out too much with them because they're like, you end up like arguing with someone who says they've lost a loved one there because I'm from Manchester myself. So it's like, I'll just leave these things alone. And sometimes I think they put them out there to like bring truthers out the woodwork and you're just going to make yourself look bad.
Oh, you're going to give yourself a target, you mean?
Well, yeah, just like, just like make yourself. You're just best keeping if just that, keep your opinion to yourself sometimes, especially when it's so close to home.
Yeah, well, you don't want like people coming round to your house and.
No, well, I've got friends from school on my friends listening. They're all from this area, so you're always going to get one who says a cousin of a friend lost their like daughter or nephew or something. I mean, I still hear them stories now, and I don't ask too much about it. I just like let them be happy in their own little thoughts about it because I don't want to challenge what they believe
At that moment.
Well, yeah, because then it's a tough one, isn't it? If they believe it and you're saying, "Oh, it's all a lie," but I suppose you can tell them the reason why you think it's a lie.
Yeah, and then like, of course, don't think that just because something's a red flag, that nobody actually died because the government don't give a shit about it,
No, do they fuck? They'll execute a few people to add to the effect. They'll just exaggerate it.
Yeah, we are enemy number one. So
No, it's our opinions that it's like they want that. That's what they want to swear. But if you think about it, like if you're a terrorist, that's not something you'd really do, is it?
why is it heck? Why you wouldn't? Why would you? Because you've not got a problem with those kids in a concert, have you? And
No, not at all.
no, like normal human beings going to go, oh, I've got a point to prove, so I'm going to go and slaughter a load of kids. Like, doesn't make sense, does it? Like, or your government's oppressing my country, so I'm going to murder these children.
Yeah, your government dropped a bomb on my entire family, so I'm going to go and attacks. Well,
Surely some important building that was targeted, and that would make a bigger impact, wouldn't it?
well, it barely happens. It very, very rarely happens.
In my life.
And when it does happen, there's always something really suspicious, like no cameras are working that day.
Oh, yeah.
You go and pick a pocket in that area, and police will be swarming on you before you know it. I mean, they're watching everything, but just not on that day.
Yeah, just not on that day. I felt like I was being watched today when I was walking through town.
You probably are.
It was.
On the
It's very heavily CCTV monitored, or however you say it, for a small place, for a quiet place. It's not got too much.
You're probably getting carried away with this urban survival. They're on to you.
Probably recently, I've been on a bit of a spree.
Living like a queen.
Oh, you got to get it while you can.
You got to roll with them full moons, aren't you?
Exactly. You've got to go with those moons because
when you're feeling bold.
Yeah, not today though. I feel it's worn off, but the power of the moon is leaving me slowly.
Well, it really screwed my sleep pattern right up. I was like going to sleep at 4:00 in the morning the last 3 days, and then sleeping in, having a snooze in the day. So it sort of really messed me round.
So you blame?
I'm back on track now, so like I say, the energies must have shifted.
Well, I feel really synced into the moon, spiritually and physically. But I always feel just as it's getting up to full moon, I'm like everything's heightened, but all the negative things about me are heightened. Like I've got a short temper compared to usual because I've usually got like endless amounts of patience and stuff, but my patience just leaves me. My energy levels drain, my creativity goes, and then the full moon will come, and at new moon, just after the full moon, I feel like completely refreshed, and I've got a new lease of life, and my creativity's come back, and my energy's come back, and just really energetic, and it's quite nice to be around me, but at the opposite end, I'm a horror. Before
Yeah,
new moon,
I don't believe all full moons are the same. I think you can get different energies from a different full moon.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Mm.
Yeah.
It seems more prominent these days, or maybe I'm just more attuned to it.
Yeah, I think you just pay more attention to it these days because a big thing about being into the whole flat earth movement is natural observations, and you start paying a lot more attention to the sky, to the movement of the sun and the moon and the stars and the amount of daylight hours and all kinds of stuff up there. So I would definitely say that you become more attuned to it.
No, I definitely agree. Just like taking your shoes off and connecting with the earth, just little simple things like walking on some grass or in some mud bath or watching sunsets, doing a bit of sun gazing, and it's really energizing. And they're just simple things, but they're so effective.
Yeah, I remember as a kid watching an athletics event, and I can't remember which event it was. It was some Commonwealth Games or Olympics or something, and I think it may have been a Kenyan long runner, and someone making I didn't know it was a racial remark at the time, but like basically saying, "Oh, he's only just found out what a pair of shoes are," or something like that. And actually not understanding the significance of it, but the simple thing of putting shoes on and being disconnected from the earth has like a massive detrimental effect on you. Years ago, I remember reading an article about if you've got bad joints, bad knees, just walk
Inflammation.
10 minutes a day and it'll fix your joints. And I remember thinking, oh yeah, what a load of bollocks that is. How is that going to fix your joints? Like you need to go and see someone, you need to take some. So yeah, like the simple thing of just disconnecting you from the earth by half an inch. That's all it is, half an inch. And
it's the soles of your shoes. It's disconnected your soul from Mother Earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Dumping all that energy you're carrying around, but just if you don't feel balanced, just summon it a little bit out, just whip them shoes off, stand in some grass for 10 minutes. It's clears your mind.
Yeah, I actually have an anecdotal story about earthing, and it's not mine. Should I tell you who it is? It's my mum.
Oh, you didn't need to tell us that.
She's got a gammy toenail. No, she won't mind. It's all right. I've told people worse. Anyway, She had a bad toenail, like a spongy toenail that was going yellow, and it kept falling off and things. And she tried all the ointments in the pharmacist, and nothing was working. She tried all the things, and she started walking bare feet on the grass. And she swears that it's that what is fixing her toenail, because it's now going back and it's looking very healthy. And she says she tried everything that was suggested, and nothing worked. But walking bare feet on the grass has helped tremendously.
Yeah, I can believe it. I mean, people ain't taking notice of these little like hacks. Once you start doing it, it just seems obvious, natural way of being.
Yeah, because
Like you say, it's like a pedicure.
yeah,
Right.
you did say that.
Probably like sandblast your feet. I mean, the first few times you do it, just set yourself a challenge to walk half a mile down the dirt track or something, and it proper buffs your feet up.
Yeah, natural pedicure.
Natural one, yeah. Get rid of some of that dead skin.
That's been caused by your feet sweating inside your socks, inside your shoes, and all that.
Yeah, like disconnected.
Yeah. But also another small thing, because while we're talking about feet, is socks. Like I've worn socks all my life, and I've always been a cold person because I grew up poor with an evil government, and so it was always cold as kids, right? Always freezing, and so I've always had like two pairs of socks on. Having socks on does not warm your feet up. I've only just realised this as an adult. If you want warm feet, take your socks off. They'll warm up instantly. Like if you're in the house, it's not like because I used to sleep in my socks. I used to sleep in my socks until recently, like just the last 12 months. I started doing it, thinking that I'm freezing, my feet are cold. Oh, I'll put another pair of socks on. That'll warm them up. No, take your socks off. You'll be warm instantly. Also, if you're out camping, like you're sleeping in the sleeping bag and you think, oh, I need 3 jumpers on, it's freezing. No, strip off naked and get in your sleeping bag, and you'll be warm. I promise you.
Until you wake up in the middle at night shivering.
Yeah, I'm not talking about frigid conditions, but just end of the season or beginning of the season when it's a bit chilly.
I'd say with the socks thing, if you take your socks off and walk around and then put your socks back on, then you really do get warm feet.
Yeah, after you've given them a chance to warm up.
Like and then down, and they come back with a vengeance, really warm, toasted.
But the reason I wanted to talk about socks was because all of the socks that you buy in the shop, like just like your standard high street shops, none of them are natural fibres. They're either just completely plastic, but they feel nice, or they mixed like cotton with elastane, or
polyester
and all that. And I remember someone again years ago when I was a kid saying, "Oh, never wear nylon socks or nylon tights. It'll mess your feet up, meaning like your toes will get all bent out of shape and stuff." But I just started wearing cotton socks, and my feet, because I always used to get that feeling where I need to adjust my socks because they feel too small, even though I know they're not too small. But after you've had them on a while, it feels like they're strangling my feet. Just wear natural fibres if you're going to wear socks. They won't strangle your feet. Your feet won't sweat. They'll stay warm. They won't be cold all the time like that. So,
I always try and get woolly socks.
Yeah, wool socks are
probably
good.
not really woolly.
Well, do you not read the label?
No, you come to mention it. I'm sure I've seen that word polyester quite a lot.
Real-time realizations going on.
Yeah, it's just getting these little flashbacks now, but it's been a while since I bought a pair of socks, so
I have to get you some just natural fibres. But yeah, it's all these little, they seem like very small things, but when you add them all up, it's massive. But it's all like these little things that take you away from nature, like making you disconnect from the earth, from the ground.
But it's
Putting
like everything in it. It's like deodorant, your toothpaste, your clothes, the plastic your food comes in. It's on every single level we're getting hit, and it's like we don't stand a chance really. It's not all coincidences. Everything's in that, in our detrimental sort of effect on our health. It's why is it always that way? It's like they pick the worst thing possible and go with that. With everything.
yeah,
Teflon in your frying pan, and it's like fucking aluminium in your deodorant, and then all this stuff in your shampoos, and it's like, what's going on?
yeah, it's all unnatural, and it will all have some kind of negative effect on you. So my goal in life is just to try and get back to nature as much as possible.
There is no nature left, though. It's like, where do you start?
Oh, don't be defeatist, Alan.
Okay, sorry. I mean,
Spent a week in the wilderness. Come on now.
but like being in that wilderness, you realise that it couldn't sustain very many people.
What do you mean?
Like, you're not going to have thousands of people living in the forest because it just isn't enough in a forest around it, any of these areas that keep 1,000 people or a few thousand or 50,000 people alive. It's not going to happen. There ain't enough things in there. You might see a few rabbits, that'll feed you for a couple of days. Then what you're going to do the rest of the time?
Right. Yeah, I see what you mean.
And the firewood and how much you're using and building a little house and stuff. And imagine that times 1,000. It's like, no.
Not think like we'll just take the British Isles for example. Do you not think there's enough wilderness in the British Isles for the population? Because we're all stacked on top of each other in cities, in the concrete.
I believe there's enough area if it was organised and planned, and it'd work perfectly well. But just if everything were just thrown into chaos and said, "Here, right, go and sort it out yourself," it'd just be, it wouldn't work.
You're depressing me. I'm completely the opposite. I'm like plunges into chaos. Come on.
Right, yeah, sink or swim.
Do it yesterday, please.
But it'd be like fucking the Wild West, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But there needs to be some kind of organisation to it or plan what people can agree to in some kind of way.
But if you start organising things and people start compartmentalising things.
Yeah, it's who's do the organising for what needs and purposes of it. That's where the fucking stakes always seem to find themselves situated. They like strive for these positions.
Yeah.
That's where they want to be.
I know.
People are like, oh, I don't want to be like king. I can't really deal with that kind of pressure. It's like, and these guys are like, oh, I'll do it because they realize they're not thinking the pressure, they're thinking of what they can get out of it for themselves.
Yeah.
That's like their drive, right? You think it, whereas I'd see it from the other side, where I just think of all the negative points to it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just think that people, I just don't like organisation. I don't like the word. I think it should be banned. I think I would bring back, like, maybe not execution, but like a really long dungeon style prison sentence for anyone that tried to implement any kind of organisation.
Well, what's going on now is treason against the people, and it's just no one sees it for what it is, and it's like it's just being exposed daily, and people are just like, all right, it's normal.
Yeah, people are used to it.
Yeah, like 200 years ago, like this fucker's on the other side. You know, he's not. He's like for the enemy, this dude, and there's loads of them like that. It's like whose side are they on?
They're not on your side.
Been
Yeah, they're not on your side.
It's been forgotten. It's like jobs. Jobs. That word means more than people. It's like what people are going to do without a job, so the job's more important. It's like they're just serving the corporation, lining people up like fodder. You there?
I am.
You mate, what's tonight's food tip for the week?
Sorry about that. What's tonight's food, did you say?
Yeah, you was doing a section on little nibbles.
Tasty snack.
Yeah.
Well, tonight's tasty snack is
We need jingle.
tonight, Matthew. Right, yeah, what's it? Stoner food, stoner snack.
Yeah, stoner snack.
But it's not exclusive to stoners. Anyone can enjoy this, unless you've got a nut allergy or you're a vegan, or you've got gluten intolerance.
Vegans can't have honey.
So yeah, or anything really that I'm about to talk about. So apologies, vegans. I'll do something vegan next week. Yeah, my tasty snack, which I've just discovered recently, is you toast yourself a really nice bit of bread. Make it good bread. Treat yourself. No, none of this white Warburton's rubbish. Get yourself some really nice bread. I use like a fluffy brown seeded batch. Toast it on both sides. Butter it, and don't be stingy. Peanut butter it. Doesn't matter if it's smooth or crunchy. I prefer smooth. And then add honey, and then some cracked salt. It's divine. Yeah, anyone wants to try that, you can leave a comment if it was up to my description or not.
Well, bears know what's good, don't they? They're like the peanut butter and they're like the honey, and just to mix them is just like heaven, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. The next time you come, I'll make you some of that.
I have made it myself in the past, and I thought to myself, why is no one marketing this? Honey and peanut butter in a jar mixed together.
I'm gonna have to put a copyright on it right now.
Yeah, it's
I'm only
taken.
Yeah, no, it's good, and the sweetness of the honey goes really well with the peanut butter, and then just that little sprinkle of salt on top. It's like it sends the sweetness, like it just balances it perfect. So yeah,
There you go.
that's the tasty snack of the week.
Yeah, for those stoner moments.
Those stoner moments. What did we have last week? Oh, salt and pepper chips.
That's the vegan satisfied.
That was vegan, fully vegan. No animals harmed during making
process.
Nothing processed. I suppose the olive oil's got to go through a process because you've got to get it from an olive into oil, but I always buy like cold pressed stuff that people just stood on. Yeah. So yeah. No, yeah, sorry about leaving you there.
Alright.
I needed an interval and I've got no way of letting you know to keep talking.
Alright, yeah, no problem.
So basically what we're saying is it's easy to lie to a massive population of people or to a whole world of people effectively about any one thing, because information's compartmentalized right from the very top, and each layer that the information's passed down to, less information is given, until you're just giving someone a task and they're just completing it without asking any questions or wondering why.
Yeah,
So,
and it starts from birth, basically. From the moment you're born, you'd given your religion, Church of England for me, written on my birth certificate, and then put into whatever school. And it starts there, it goes all the way on.
so like when you put it into terms like businesses, organisations, or the military,
Yeah.
stuff, it's quite easy to see how.
The ranking there, can you? But then there's other stuff behind it all, isn't there? It's like just little, designers or financiers or the accounts department or solicitors. There's just all these little things that no one knows what anybody else is getting up to, and they have no need to know.
No, so it's all on a need to know basis, and
yeah, and even at the bottom, like a teller at a bank, they don't need to know what's going on in the back, or even selling stuff. They don't do that part. They're just doing stuff at the till, or maybe they do sell. They got them selling eventually, didn't they? Selling loans and stuff, trying to push it on you, but they don't know the ins and outs of it.
no.
They don't have to, unless they get a promotion.
So information on that kind of scale, it's easy to see. So it's not a case of millions of scientists out there all keeping a secret. They don't know the truth. They've only got the education that they were given, and they're only teaching the curriculum that they're being paid to teach. So it's quite an easy cycle. I think one of the hardest things would have been like like when they staged the moon landings, sitting in the astronaut shoes when they came back, because they did look depressed, didn't they? They didn't look like man's greatest moment. From that would have been like the bit that the higher ups, they're all just thinking like, just get through this bit, and then we've sold it. Just get them through this press conference, and we've sold it to the world. Like everyone was really well excited.
Armstrong never give an interview. Is that true? Once after he got back, he never actually gave a live interview his entire life. Is that true?
Which one's that?
Neil Armstrong.
He's dead, isn't he now?
Yeah. I read that or heard it today that he never actually gave an interview other than the one that he was, debunking.
The guy. Because what's his name? He was trying to get him to swear on the Bible, wasn't he? That they landed on the moon.
I don't know which one that is. That Buzz Aldrin. There were a few of them though.
He tried with a few of them, yeah.
Like 24 apparently had been out of lower Earth orbit, and so he must have picked a few of them out who were still alive and that.
Yeah. So before you die, do you feel, is there anything you want to get off your chest?
Me?
Now, but like that's a big thing to carry around with you all your life. Do you know what I mean? Like that's lying to the whole world. You can't. I can't.
Well, you would though, wouldn't you? Yeah, you want to. I suppose you want to come clean. Is it? But you'd know the implications of it, so you wouldn't just. Perhaps he's got a pass because he's been like Buzz Aldrin. What's his name? Buzz Aldrin. He's been like sugary, like getting close to Donald Trump. Seen with him a few times. He's been given a pass to like allowed to sort of give soft closure of not ever going there. I mean, who better to hear it from than someone who's supposedly been there themselves? Because I feel like people are struggling to accept what's being said.
Who's struggling with what?
like like Buzz Aldrin saying, "Oh no, I never went to the moon." It's like then the cognitive dissonance kicks in, saying, "Oh, he's been misinterpreted." Or he didn't say it like that, or trying to get the ways out of it, or he's just a crazy old man, probably pissed off.
Yeah, people making excuses for him.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Buzz Aldrin confessing to a little boy that they never really went to the moon.
A little girl.
A little girl, sorry. He looked quite drunk at the time. I don't know if anyone else recognised that. He had glassy eyes and he looked like he was sobering up a little bit from a heavy drinking session. I sound like an expert, don't I?
Sobering up from a reoccurring nightmare.
Well, yeah. And then he explains to this little person, it kind of in a cryptic but not cryptic, that
It was really well expressed, and it's like if I'd been pondering something for 50 years, then that's how I would have said it. It'd be like you want to nail it and get it right, don't you?
We never really went there. So the big question is, is that soft disclosure? Is that like part of the karmic law of disclosing the truth but not directly, or has that been was he scripted to say that and they plan to deliberately release it to the public? What do you think? Hello, Joey Roker. Aloha. Chee-hoo.
Hello. I think if would they sort of disclose this information? They couldn't just come out and say it. And the game is up. I mean, where they're going with it now is people going to really believe like they're going to Mars and we're going to be on the moon? Are they going to fall for that, or is it like are they just going to say, all right, we'll just quit while we're ahead? Is this like the age of information? The lie can't be continued no more. And in what way would you go about it? You'd have to let people down slowly because like people, you can see it makes people feel like they're going crazy. Just the notion of thinking that it's not a spinning ball, it makes people feel
Dizzy.
like unwell. I mean, yeah, you like really attacking the fundamentals of what they believe, and you can see the discomfort that you're putting them through. It's like you're making my head feel like I'm mentally unwell, so you must be crazy. You're making me feel crazy right now. You crazy person.
Yeah.
But I think to myself, it is fucking crazy to believe what they believe with such conviction, and then when you really look at it, they don't really know why they believe it, or some of them do, but then it's not practical the way they think about things. It's just like in a book, they don't really feel what they're saying, and when you can lay it out and put some feeling into it and sort of paint a picture of understanding, then it's like difficult to hold the lie together because it just starts falling to pieces.
So back to my original question then. Everything you just said was put across beautifully. But do you think it's deliberate disclosure then, or do you think
Yeah.
Buzz trying to clear his own conscience?
No, it's not just them, is it? It's other things coming out, and the little breadcrumbs are there if you want to look for them. It's like a puzzle, and we're just putting pieces together and trying to build. It's like being a detective, innit? And build a case, and it's like you get to a certain point, you can't deny the evidence you've got, but that evidence keeps building all the time because there's some great people out there looking into all this stuff. And giving it us as well. With like the ISS, for instance, the International Space Station. There's so many things that have gone like flaws in what they're showing us.
Yeah.
Like just surely these things are coming up when people like just normal search stuff who have never heard of this stuff because it's just that much of it out there.
Oh, surely they must do. I mean,
it's in lifetime. You see it happening, with like harnesses and things. It's like,
yeah, even before I was on board with this flat earth malarkey, I never could believe for a second that there was people living on a spaceship traveling around the earth at ridiculous speeds. And I did see a few of those live streams on the news, etc. And I just always thought they were fake.
It's just think about it, what they're showing you, and it's like having 5 nuclear submarines all strapped together floating around, you know, and they're just leaving all of these hatches open inside with like air vents and wires coming through. It just, the temperature range that they're supposed to be under, all the CGI faults, it just don't make no sense really when you start looking at it through a critical eye.
No, I'm just going to change the topic slightly because you mentioned there's some great people out there. So I'm just going to take a moment to mention some of the great people out there. And I'll probably miss loads and loads, but just another segment, Flat Earth This Week, we'll call it, because the Flat Earth activists out there have been really busy.
Yeah.
There's been at Speaker's Corner and in and around London.
Yeah, credit.
This weekend, so it's probably loads of people with stuff on YouTube channels now, but off the top of my head, John Smith Globe Live, I'll have stuff up on it, so will Roxanne Glenn. I know Victoria Rose, FE Truth Activist, is holding another camp soon, 2 weeks in the summer.
18th of August.
Is when it starts, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good on you for remembering. But you can check that out either on their timeline on Facebook, which is just Victoria Rose, or there's a Facebook group that she created called Feast, FEAST, which is all about just a place really where this stuff can be organised and put together, and people can get together and meet in real life. And get together with other activists and go and do things together, which is how we met, actually, isn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, it's really worth putting the effort in and going meeting some of these people that you have in contact with online. It's always nice to meet them in reality, and just friendships can develop. Good bonds.
Yeah, everyone's got something to offer somebody else. In life,
it's nice being able to talk about anything and not having to hold yourself back, because just in everyday life you're not really the person you want to be if you like are involved in the truth movement, because you want to talk about this stuff and topics get brought touched upon, but you just got to like bite your tongue and not get involved because you just upset people
in day-to-day life.
Just in general day-to-day life, it's like you're just rubbing people up the wrong way. So it's easier not to say anything, but you can't help it.
Yeah, so it's nice just to meet people in real life that are on the wavelength.
And it's rare, and it's like, it's real. It's like you know them already.
Well, yeah. Yes and no.
Things in common. I mean, most people are quite creative. And the truth movement, there's so many topics. You've got so much to talk about, and most people want to show off the knowledge.
Yeah, which is always good, because then you're always learning things. There's always a different perspective to look at certain information. So it's just nice to experience other people's ideas and thoughts and expressions, that you don't generally get to do when you're caught in the rat race and you're worried about fucking TV license man knocking on your door or whatever. And so it's good stuff. So good on you, Victoria. Anyone wants to find out about that, you can visit the Facebook page Feast or Victoria Rose's profile on Facebook. So what else? Who else? The activists have been busy, basically. I haven't seen any new videos for a while. I am awaiting
John Smith put one out today, the Speaker's Corner one. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I'll have to have a look at it. There is a video that I am anticipating hugely coming out of Norway soon. They captured the eclipse in real time with the whole, extended daylight hours and everything because it's midsummer. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, but it's going to be a couple of weeks before that does come out. Do you watch many flat Earth videos, or do you not bother?
I sort of just, I'd say, yeah, I watch all kinds of videos. I try and not just focus on one topic, and I've got that many versatile friends. There's a lot of what they're into comes along in my feeds or what they're watching at that moment. So I like to think I'm quite versatile in what I watch.
So you get quite a broad spectrum of.
Yeah, just a little bit of everything. I mean, some of it, it's like way above my head, but I just get the information in there and make sense of it later because
Yeah,
it's been censored so much that it might not be there in a few months' time, to really study it.
yeah.
But it comes to you later.
Well, I think that's how things should come to you anyway, naturally. Like you can't just take a piece of information and just accept it for how it's been presented to you. You have to give yourself time to let it sink in, and you've got to ponder on it. You've got to have some quiet time with those thoughts and the ideas that were presented to really see if they do fit.
Yeah, and go over stuff again because I mean, a video you watched 2 years ago, you probably don't remember most of it. So it's always good to go over a few things again, if the thing pops up, just to jog your memory, and it might make sense more the second time round because you progressed.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely true.
So compartmentalization and the psychology behind it, and it being a defense mechanism. Can you see any times in your life where you've had to use it, or like subconsciously or unsubconsciously?
I think we all have, don't we? I mean, like I said, just through the education system, going to school and then you pick what you want to do, and you're given it as well. It's all given to you mostly, but you just focus on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I was thinking about like.
You're giving your role, aren't you? I mean, you're educated in a certain way, and it's like you act a certain way. You might be a little bit rebellious, but you just sort of follow what everyone else is doing. So,
Like for example, I don't know if you've ever been in a car crash or anything. Like the accident at the time, you can't think about it. You've got to just concentrate on. Say you've been in a car crash. You can't be thinking of the horrors of what's in front of you. You've got to shut that off. You've got to get out of the car and protect your physical self and get to safety, get help for other people. Is there anyone else you can help? You've got to compartmentalize in those kind of situations, because otherwise you are no help to anyone. And it's only after the fact, that you might then go into a bit of shock or experience some kind of stress or even post-traumatic stress.
So you think like it's a natural thought process that's been hijacked?
What do you mean?
It's like, well, A leads to B and C, but they're like hijacking it by installing this system that focuses on one part of your sort of understanding.
It's hard to say because I've never in my life actually been out of the system. Do you see what I mean? So
well, that's it. We're all in it, aren't we? So
then it's like, oh, back to that thought. You know, are any thoughts your own? So it's really it's hard to comprehend how I would
we're in
feel
it.
if I'd never been in it, because I've never been out of it. Like, I've spent extended times alone, but not just in nature or, you know, out of the cities or whatever. It's so there's always been some kind of system in place with it, you know,
So
education
we're in.
system, jobs, you know, infrastructure of cities, all the rest of it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's something what's been hijacked, or if it's or if it's a program they've installed into you so that you can deal with stressful situations, or if it's a natural mechanism of self-preservation. Because if we were left to nature, then you would need it, you know. And I think, did you hear any of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You did, right? All right. I'm just waiting for a response. Come on, quicker.
Yeah.
I'm only joking.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Oh, excellent. I'll give myself another gold star. So yeah, I do think that you would need it in nature. So I'm not sure if it's something. I don't think it's. I think it's a natural defense mechanism, but they've utilised it in all areas of society to work against us, so that we just compartmentalise everything and never look at the big picture.
We work against ourselves, don't we?
Yes. So.
And we can only be from the inside looking in. When none of us are outside looking in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very useful. It's a useful tool for them to use against us. It is hard for people to look at the bigger picture. I mean, you know yourself when you're in whatever personal situation, say something's happening. It's hard to step back and look at it from that perspective. You know, what's this person doing? I feel like they're lying to me, but you can't quite comprehend how would they lie. Would they lie? Would they do that to you? You know, like, you can't actually get past that. So, yeah.
It does it. You hold yourself back with, like, because you trust these people 100%, and then you got to lose that trust. So they've got to give you some reason to lose it.
Yeah, so it just becomes like a circular thing.
But like, they're shitting on everyone at the moment, so it's like they're giving loads of people reason to start doubting what they're doing. So then I'm wondering, this has got to be by design. Like, push is coming to shove.
I'm not sure it'll ever come to shove. I just think
it's like all these people are in debt now, and they're going on about it, and like the average family's like earning 7% less than what they need to survive. So it's like, well, where's that extra money coming from? So they're just getting it on the credit card. But when, you know, it all comes on to roost at, say, Christmas time, where they need that extra money for the kids' presents and stuff like that, you know, what's going to come first? Everyone starts getting depressed, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, but what I meant by it's not. I don't think it's going to come to push. And everyone's being pushed, but no one's going to push back.
No, I don't. Well, it's like, but I think they're not going to have any choice.
Do you think?
No, I think it's going to get to that point where people ain't got no choice. Disobedience, but I think it's by design. It's all being played out now.
And what would be the purpose of that? Why would they want people to push back?
because the system just needs to fail. It's like it's fucked, isn't it? And they know it, and they're just exploiting it to piss people off. But then it goes to the New World Order, doesn't it? And then they'll put another system in place. So it's like it's all. Are we just doing what they want for them? Pushing this agenda, like resistance, because it's got to fall for the new thing to take its place.
Don't you think we're already in the New World Order?
Yeah, but there's still like this belief of nationality. They want to remove that, don't they?
What with multiculturalism? Do you think that's what that's all?
Multiculturalism and equality.
That's an interesting thing. Because see, when I was younger and still very naive, I just thought that equality was just equal rights for everyone, not but not to the extremes to what it's got now. I never saw that coming. Like I just thought it was very, very simple. You know, everybody's got the same right. You know, you shouldn't be paid more to do the same job as I do, for example. But it's not actually about that, is it?
It's like you don't mind if someone that does the same work as you and gets the same money, or vice versa. But it's like they're creating a class system by their own design, giving all these people money and inviting them here. And you know, I'd bloody go. You know, it's not them who's the problem; it's the government. But it's like they're just bringing them in as a scapegoat to focus the problem on them rather than the creators of the problem, the government. So it's just they're there to serve a purpose. It's like the government don't give a fuck about anyone, so why are they doing it? Don't give a shit about the Englishman in England, so why would they give a shit about someone whose country they're blowing up?
No, I just think they're playing a massive game of Risk, and that's war is their ultimate game. It's like they're in the big boys club when they get to declare war on people. That's what I think.
It is a big game. It's like it's going to take some thought to figure it all out, and if it's playing out as we speak, and it's like it's confusing as fuck. But that's the way they want it. They want you confused.
Do you think that it could be a possibility, because we're talking about games, that is the meaning of life, like the game of life? That is like what we signed up for, and it's all just a game, and we're just playing against ourselves.
There's probably some truth in that, yeah. But are we playing against ourselves or a darker force? Or is it like just down to yourself how you interpret it, so it doesn't matter what you're up against?
Yeah. See, these are those like moments where I need long pauses for thinking. Yeah, it's a funny one.
It is. Well, I'm sure we're going to live to see it. I don't know all the way through, but you know, whatever's going to happen, start. Well, I've been saying it for years already, and it's not happened yet. So
No.
But that's probably why they keep false starts till you get bored of it and lose interest and don't pay no attention to it no more. And then, boom.
What if it's just a massive social experiment, and we are?
We are, aren't we? It's like we're the litmus test. But they're just doing it on loads of different levels.
Yeah. See, I think, and actually maybe this could be the topic of conversation for next week, but it's a bit of a hot topic and people get triggered by it. But talking of social engineering and social experiments, the whole transgender thing, because I don't see that much TV, I only get bits of news from social media. so I wasn't actually fully aware of how hard it's being pushed and all the different legislations that are being changed for this that could just be, I'm not saying it is, could be a mental illness.
Well, it used to be classed as a mental illness, didn't it? In the like 70s, it was. That's exactly what it was classed as. Now, in my opinion, I still think it should be classed as mental illness because the suicide rate of transgender people is running at 40%. So that's not just a little number. That's like 4 in 10 end of life through suicide. It's like, well, obviously, their answer to the problems isn't mutilating themselves, and they're not hide. You can't hide from yourself. So it's like acceptance problems. I mean, they need some serious counselling, not mutilating and hormones and shit.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into it now because I think we should talk about it next week actually. But
yeah, we can do that.
Talking about suicide and mutilation and stuff, like just quickly, I'm just going to say like a counter argument to the suicide rate would be, society's views on transgenderism. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's because people won't accept us, so that's why they're so unhappy. It's not because they've had the parts cut off and sewn up or whatnot. It's because it's society's fault as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot to it, isn't there? I mean, doing with our food, and is it making people more feminine, the male more feminine, and is it true what's happening? But if you observe the young adults around today, they seem a bit more feminine. So what's been how we're being manipulated.
It definitely feels engineered anyway because things are moving too fast.
I've seen such a massive change in just my lifetime. Just even like 5, 6, 10 years. It's just like, wow, things are just it's not even a generation. It's just like half a generation.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, it's like, wow. So what's to come?
Well, we'll talk about it next week. I don't want to.
Yeah, are we going to wrap up because it's getting late?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say because I forgot to check the clock before we started, and I don't know what time it is now.
I think it was like 10:30 or something.
I feel like we've been on for a while, so oh yeah, it's 1:10 now. So we didn't go.
Any viewers?
We have had some viewers. Yeah, it was up to 9 points. So if there's still any viewers, thank you very much for staying with
Thanks
us.
for listening.
Do you have any shamanic wisdom for us this week about maybe compartmentalization or anything?
Don't let the bastards grind you down.
Excellent. Don't let them put your mind in boxes.
No, just try and figure out in your mind what boxes you've been put in and try and unravel them.
Lovely. Thank you.
There is no box.
So next week's main topic will be transgender agenda and is there an agenda? And there'll be more tasty snacks with Zannie and shamanic wisdom from Flat Earth legend Aaron.
And try and see what topical events are happening around this time next week.
Yeah, for other stuff that's been going on in the Flat Earth community. So this week it was big with the activism and Martin Kenny's appearance on ITV debating the physicist.
Yeah, excellent job, everyone.
Yeah, well done. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you all next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning.
Thanks for listening.
All right, see you later.
See you later. See ya.